Welcome back, friends. All right, so this is our second demo session. And remember, yesterday we have seen some very basics of the operating system, especially the Linux server operating system, right? So let me just go through our second sessions briefly, then we'll go with the new session. All right, see you, friends. This is a package where there are three courses: Linux server administration, networking, that is CCNA, and the cloud computing. These are three courses we have in one package. Now, the question was raised yesterday, like why these three courses in one package? And like I said to my friend, without having the knowledge of servers, without having the administration knowledge, it's not like knowing basics. Without having the administration level knowledge of servers, networks, you simply cannot understand cloud. You simply cannot go with DevOps or cyber security or anything that is related with this particular field. So we are not learning basics of servers and basics of network here. We are learning the administration. Okay. So probably you'll be spending a couple of extra weeks with me. That's it. Then, you'll be more than ready to apply for jobs on server administration and network administration. And obviously you'll be learning cloud. So cloud will look much more easier for you once you're done with your Linux servers and the networking. All right. So let's begin with our server part. Okay. Remember, I told you I have already started a class at 8 p.m., right? Evening 8 p.m. I have started the class. I have already completed a couple of topics and the basic topics again. I have not yet shown any practical there. So 9 p.m. I am taking some backup classes for few people so that, from next Monday, they will be ready to attend 9 p.m. and they'll be ready to attend 8 p.m. class. So this week, yesterday it was 9 p.m. Today is also at 9 p.m. and most probably tomorrow also it will be at 9 p.m. So once we are done with all the things that I have covered for the existing group, I'll club you with this 8 p.m. people so that, we have a very healthy batch, more number of people. And then, we can just continue our classes at 8 p.m. And next week, I've already launched CCNA class next week, Wednesday. Okay, so hopefully from next week, you'll be coming for two classes. 8 p.m. You'll be coming for Linux administration, and 9 p.m. you'll be coming for CCNA, that is your network administration. So within like 1 month, you'll be done with Linux and you'll be nearly done with your CCNA. Then you'll be more than ready to learn, understand, learn, and clearly face any interview on cloud. All right, friends. So this is what it is. So there's the reason we have this package. This is one of the best package you can see. You can, use this package and you can simply apply for multiple job roles. You're not restricting yourself only to one particular job role here, my friend. You can go for server administrator job. You can go for network administrator job. You can go for cloud administrator. Okay. In case if you're not interested in server administration and network administration, if you just want to go purely with the cloud administration, that is well and good. That is great. But my friend, if you want to go with cloud computing job, if you want to apply for cloud computing job, and if you're not mentioning servers and the network in your resume, you will not get an interview call, my friend. Forget about working and getting a job and making a career. I'm very honest with you here. You cannot get a interview call as well. So servers and networks are so essential for our, cloud journey, DevOps journey, and cybersecurity journey. One common thing you will see in every person who is not getting success in cloud or who is not getting success in DevOps and cybersecurity is they miss server and the networking knowledge. This is as simple as this, my friend. There are no alternatives here. There are no, shortcuts here, nothing. Without server and network, you simply cannot go beyond, you know, learning cloud itself. You can learn cloud. Learning cloud means you can simply sit in the class and you can listen the classes. That's not learning in a way, right? Learning means you should understand everything. All right. And let me just add few more things here. Every session we are recording here, friends. So once the session is done, we will share all the recordings with you. Okay. All the sessions are live sessions here. Chat box is always open. And whenever you want to talk to me, especially at the end of the class, you can simply unmute yourself and you can talk to me directly. And I have created some lab books here for Linux administration and the networking part, I have created some lab manuals, and then I have created some interview questions as well. Let me just show you a few things here. Like for example, if you want to go and do some practicals, let's say user administration practicals, I'll be sharing this lab manual with you. See, I have added theoretically whatever is needed for you to understand. Then practically also I've added few things. Done. This is only about one particular topic. So I like this, I'll be sharing all the things that are needed for you, my friend. And coming to the interview questions. Interview questions are designed very well here. See, all these are the interview questions here, friends. I'll share each and everything through my Google Drive with you. So it will be easy for you to face interview before the interview. Just try to go through all these questions and go to interview. Majority of questions you will get from my interview questions that I have created for you. So I'll be sharing all these Linux administration interview questions and network administration interview questions with you. But in case, let's say you're not interested in networking and the cloud concept, you're just interested in Linux for some reason. Hmm? Then you can come only for the Linux administration, but for this fee will be 5,000 INR. But if you're coming in package, it is only 7,999. 7,999 includes Linux server administration, networking, that is CCNA, and Amazon Web Services. It includes all the three things. I'll be handling all the three classes at different times. Okay, so till the end of this package, you will be, coming to class, and I'll be your instructor, hopefully, for all these three classes. Done? All right, let's move and let's see few very important concepts that are related to Linux administration. Let us try to understand why Linux servers are so famous. Remember, I told you yesterday, friends, nearly 90% of servers on the internet, they run on Linux operating system. 90% of applications, they run on Linux operating system. All the latest technologies, they are compatible with the Linux operating system. So maybe today there is some technology which does not exist. Maybe the idea of the technology also does not exist, maybe. Hmm? Let's say after like a couple of years, someone will come with a brilliant idea regarding a technology. And after like say 5-7 years, they are ready with the technology. But the technology should run somewhere, right? Where it will run? It will definitely run on Linux server only. This is such a important operating system, not only for our career, not only for your career and my career. This is such an important operating system for the IT industry itself, for the internet itself. So we cannot run away from this. So the best thing what we can do is we can learn, isn't it? We can simply learn and we can simply, put more weightage in our resume. All right, let's see. Chat box is open, friends. I'll be sending a message here in chat box, and the message is India. There's a score for today's match. India has scored 210 runs. So that is just a message so that you can see the message. Okay. Right. Let's come and let's see. It is open source operating system. Now, what you mean by open source? I just want to clear few things here. There are two major operating systems we have. Okay, let me just add the third one also. That is Mac OS. If you just go and see the market share, see, normally, you analyze how many people across the globe are using Apple phones, how many people across the globe are using, let's say, Samsung phone, how many of them are using Motorola phone, Oppo, Vivo, all these are different companies, right? So at the end of every year, they do some, survey and they just try to show you the business of so and so company. Okay. Now, if I say overall internet, over the internet, Linux is used in 90% cases. Windows, let's say 8% cases. Approximately 8% cases. Remaining 2% is for Mac OS and some other operating system. This is over the internet, my friend. But if I show you the intranet, What is internet? Internet means public network. You can connect to internet, I can connect to internet. There is no problem connecting to the internet, right? You just need to have a device and internet connection. You can access Google, Netflix, PhonePe, whatever it is. You can access everything. That is internet. Intranet means a company's server. Let's say there is a company. Let's say there is a bank called SBI. We know, right? State Bank of India. Now, can I connect to the State Bank of India server? Of course, yes. We can connect to the State Bank of India server. So once you connect to the State Bank of India server, the State Bank of India server is available on the internet. But how many servers you can access from the State Bank? Maybe let's say 5, 10, 15, 20 servers. Or let's say we can access a web server. That's it. Can we access a database server of State Bank of India? This is unimaginable, right? This is simply unimaginable. Can I connect to the database server of SBI? No way. So where is the database server running? It is running inside the company. So that is called intranet. Now let's analyze how much is the market of the servers within the company. Linux, approximately, let's say 65%. Windows, Microsoft Windows, let's say approximately 32%. Remaining 2-3% for some other operating system like Mac, HP UX, IBM AIX, and all the other things. But see, within the company, there is some competition, right? Within the company, Linux is 65, all that is in majority. But Windows is also having some market share within the company. But over the internet, my friend, Linux is clearly the market leader. With 90%, it is clearly the market leader. So whether it is internet or whether it is intranet, whether it is a technology related to AI, machine learning, data analytics, cloud computing, DevOps, cybersecurity, database, ethical hacking, networking, whatever technology you know, my friend, all these technologies are 100% compatible with the Linux operating system. So this is such a big thing. All right. So when you say Linux is an open source operating system, what it means? Open source operating system in a simple way, I can say, you can simply take Linux operating system from the internet. You can download, you can install in your server, and you can make changes according to your requirement. You can simply make changes according to your requirement. You can make changes in the architecture of your Linux. You can make changes in the design of your Linux. Is it possible with the Windows operating system? No. Windows operating system will allow you to do some configuration, but it will not allow you to change the design of the operating system, the architecture, the kernel that you cannot change. But in Linux, this is possible. Okay. Linux is hardware independent. Literally any hardware. Okay. I have just, recently I was going through something on internet and I found out this particular image. Let me show you. Hardware independent. See here, friends. This is such a good, it can be a meme actually, but it's perfectly fits for the Linux operating system. What it says, minimum requirement for Linux. You can see the CPU, in our local language, we said Dabba CPU maybe, right? So the CPU is somewhere, they have taken CPU from some garage or somewhere. So what this person is trying to say here is, from wherever you take that CPU, from wherever that CPU you have collected, you can install the Linux operating system. This is such a big relief, my friend. If you want to install Windows operating system or any other operating system, there are some requirements you need to fulfill. Let's say for Windows minimum, you need to have 8 GB RAM. But Linux operating system can work perfectly on 1 GB RAM. This is such a big relief, right? Less resources, good performance. And if you want to get good performance from the Windows operating system, you need to have more resources. Now, what is the problem if you take more resources? So if you take 8 GB RAM, let's say you are spending 100 rupees. Just for example, let's say you're spending 100 rupees. But if you take only 1 GB RAM, you will be spending, let's say, around 12 rupees. How much money you are saving here? You are saving 88 rupees, right? But I'm not talking about only one server here. I'm talking about hundreds and thousands of servers. Now just multiply 88 with, let's say, 500 servers. You know how much money you are saving when you go with the Linux operating system. All right. And the other advantages what we have here are it is a multi-user and multitasking operating system. Multiple users can connect to the Linux operating system at the same time. I repeat, multiple users can connect to the Linux operating system at the same time. And multitasking means users can do different tasks. Users can do different tasks at the same time. Someone can connect and they can work. Let me just write down some names here so that things will look more easier. Let's say there is someone like Pandey. Pandey is a cloud admin. So Pandey user can connect to the Linux server and he can do work related to cloud. Okay. Let's say there is a user with the name Dev. Dev can connect and he is, let's say, a hacker. Let's say Vikas. Vikas can connect to the server and Vikas can say, let's say he's a database administrator. Hmm? And Peria, let's say he is a server administrator. So multi-user, multitask. So how many users are connected here? 4 users are connected. And what these 4 people are doing, they're doing a completely different task, right? Someone is a cloud admin, someone is a hacker, someone is a server admin, someone is a database admin. Linux operating system can manage all these 4 connection with perfection, without having any issue with the other connection, without interrupting the other connection, without delaying the other connection. Linux user can simply, manage all these 4 connections perfectly. Maybe Pandey user, let's say, is working on GUI method. GUI means graphical user interface. Hacker is CLI. Database admin is, let's say, CLI, and the server admin is also, let's say, CLI. Both the options are available here, my friend. You can work on the Linux server as but you can work on the Linux server using the graphical interface, or you can work on the Linux server using the command line interface, my friend. Absolutely, there is no issue with it. But imagine if there are, let's say, 100 users connected to the server, at least 99 users will be using CLI. At least how many? At least 99 users will be using CLI. Maybe 1 or 2 users, maybe they prefer to go with GUI for some reason, but whenever you talk about Linux operating system, it is all about CLI. And this is one reason why people are a bit afraid of, using Linux operating system, or a bit afraid of learning Linux operating system. But listen, my friend, till the time you don't know something, you feel like it's not easy. Okay, but once you know, then you can do everything perfectly. Like for example, let's say I don't know how to drive a car, for example. So I need to learn. So while learning, I need to be very careful. I need to see where is my clutch, where is my gear, okay, where is my brake, how I can put the indicator and all the other things, right? So initially I have to be very careful. But after a few days or few weeks, automatically everything is working, right? I know where the clutch is there. I know where the brake is there. I know how I can change the gear. I know how I can take the indicator. I know how I can, take the car in backward direction. So Linux is something like this, my friend. Initially, you may feel like, oh, what is going on? But within 1 or 2 days, my friend, 1 or 2 classes, I'll make sure you feel like, okay, you know about this Linux server very well. It's not difficult. And one more thing, there is no substitute of Linux servers, my friend. You have to learn, so you have to learn. That's it. There is absolutely no substitute. All right, so we will learn the Linux server operating system using CLI method, and I'll make sure you learn it in the perfect way possible. It looks more easier. In case if you're stuck anywhere, I'll be sharing the lab manuals with you, the practical things, whatever I have created, I'll share all the things with you through my Google Drive. And in coming classes, I'll even share my mail ID and WhatsApp number. So in case if you're stuck somewhere, just ping me on my WhatsApp number. I'll be more than happy to assist you, my friend. But in case if I'm in class, like right now I'm in class, I may not answer. But once I finish the class, I'll simply go to WhatsApp. I'll check if there any message or anything I need to answer. I'll check it, then I'll just close everything. So this is why I'll operate here, my friend. I'll try to help you in every way possible. Okay. So don't worry about commands and everything. I'll be sharing it. Initially, if you know some commands, later on, it will not be difficult for you to add new commands from your side, or, learn new commands from your side. All right. Now,
Linux is a lightweight operating system. Lightweight operating system means, it will take only few resources to run this Linux operating system. Now, it is available in multiple languages with support. This is again a good thing. Multiple languages is always good. Now, let us go to more technical things, compatible with all the latest technology. I've already named few technologies there: cloud, DevOps, AI, machine learning, data science, data analytics, quantum services, whatever tools or whatever applications they use, they're obviously running all these things on Linux operating system. Even, if you go to somewhere like ISRO, NASA, ICRISAT, they all run their applications and tools on a server, and that server is your Linux server. All right, so you're learning something which is, a big thing, my friend. It's my responsibility to make things easier for you. It's your responsibility to come in every session so that, you can understand each and every concept with more clarity. All right. Now, so Linux, you get regular updates here for sure. There is no problem with the updates. Linux, you'll get all the application support. So these are few things that are very simple. Now let us go to this virus. Now, normally you see people say like Linux operating system is virus free. This is not completely true statement actually. If someone says Linux operating system is virus free, they're not 100% true. They may be wrong, or they can be wrong actually in many ways. Because already if you go and see the history, there are many cases where they have already recorded virus in Linux operating system, but it's very rare. Compared to other operating systems, it's very rare that you get some virus in Linux operating system. It's very rare, my friend. All right. But still, you need to be very careful. Linux operating system can get some virus. In most of the cases, the Linux operating system virus can spread because of the administrator's mistake. The architecture is so well designed that it's not possible for virus to come and spread automatically. Okay, why I'm saying this? There is a big reason. Okay, there are some permissions we need to see in coming classes, like read permission, write permission, and then executable permission. Every file will have some permissions. So when you go with permission session, I'll show you why, it's not easy for virus to come and spread. But in case if I'm not a good administrator, I don't know this stuff very well, because of my mistake, because of my wrong permissions, maybe something can happen. But overall, Linux is virus free compared to the other operating systems. All right. And coming to security, my friend, you know this very well, right? Security is very well designed in Linux operating system. Can I say there is no security in Windows? No. I'm not saying like there is no security in Windows. Security is there in Windows as well as security is there in Linux. But in Linux, by default, there is much better service compared to Windows operating system. In Windows, we need to add extra layers of security, but the default security in Linux is more than enough to protect our applications and to protect our data. These are some of the, features you should know, so that you know what you are learning and how important it is. So these are major features that makes Linux the number one operating system for last many decades. I'm not saying years, my friend, I'm saying many decades. And for many more years and decades to come, there is no competition of Linux. See, when I can say competition, let's say for example, if there are 50 people in a classroom, and the first person who got the first rank, let's say he got 98 marks out of 100. And if the second person gets 96, then there is a competition, right? Then there is a competition. But in case if the second person is getting, let's say, 64, there is no competition there, right? Obviously, someone will come second, but see how far that person is. So let's imagine this is something like Linux. This is something like Windows. See, when I started my career, my friend, I have experience on, Windows servers, Linux server, network, firewalls, virtualization, cloud computing. I have experience on multiple domains. When I started my career 16, 17 years before, I started my career on Windows server. I'm not saying Windows servers are bad. I'm just trying to show you something that is a reality. I'm saying compared to Windows servers, Linux servers are way better. Remember 10, 15 minutes before we have seen the percentage like how much percentage Linux is used and how much percentage Windows is used. So overall, this is the way it works, my friend. Overall, Linux servers are much better compared to Windows servers across the globe. Statistics, records, everything shows Linux is always going upwards. All right. So I'm here for like 30 more seconds. I'll just take a break for 30 seconds here, friends. Any questions, any doubts regarding our Linux server, curriculum, whatever? I'm more than happy to clear all your doubts. Remember, chat box is always open. Feel free to send your questions in chat box. But anyhow, anything else you want to say? Else you want to add? I'm more than happy to hear from you guys. Try to keep this chat box as busy as possible, my friend. Keeping chat box busy will make our classes very interesting. I should know how much you are getting. If you are getting very well, then we can go a bit more deeper into every topic actually. So just try to keep these sessions as interesting, as busy as possible. Maybe I'll asking few questions and I'm expecting many questions from your side. All right. All right. So let's move and let's see few more things. See, in Linux, we call it as distributors or distributions actually. So what are these distributions? Distributions are different components that provides you the Linux operating system. Out of all these distributions, my friend, the most famous is obviously Red Hat and Ubuntu. These are the two most famous distributions. All right. And if you know any one, you can work on the other. Most of the commands will be same, the concepts will be same, and few commands can be different. For example, let me say, if you're installing any application or if you're updating any application in Red Hat, you use a command called, let's say, yum. Very famous command, yum. But if you are installing any application in the Ubuntu operating system, you say apt get yum install abc apt get install abc. That's it. So like this, few commands here and there can be a bit different, but overall, if you know any one Linux distribution, my friend, you can easily work on the other distribution. All right. And in companies, they use multi-vendor. They use different distributions for sure. It's not like they will be using only one. So don't worry. They are not expecting us to know all the distributions. See, how much is our career, my friend? Once we are done with our graduations and everything, we are already into mid-20s, at least in early 20s. So our career is still, let's say, late 40s or maybe like say around 50. We have approximately 25 years to survive in this industry. If you can do things very well in these 25 years, rest of the life, there is no need for us to work. That much we can earn and that much we can save. That's a reality. So they are not expecting you and me to know everything. They are expecting you and me to know the things that are needed. All right. The things that are needed that we need to know very well. If you are good in these things, you can easily learn all the other things for sure. All right. Fine. So these are some of the distributions here, and I'll name few very important or very popular distributions. You know Amazon very well. Amazon is a very big, IT company now that provides you the cloud. AWS is from Amazon only. Oracle also, maybe. So Amazon also offers you the Linux. Oracle also offers you the Linux. Azure, this is your Microsoft Azure. This is from Microsoft. They also offers you the Linux operating system. And then obviously we have something called Kali Linux. Kali Linux is your Linux that we use in hacking actually. So these are some of the other very famous Linux. But if you go to internet and search, there you'll probably get some hundreds of different Linux distributions. But again, what are the two most famous? Red Hat Linux. That is what we'll be learning in next 35 days most probably. And then the other one is your Ubuntu. Once you're done with Red Hat, if you're not able to execute the same command in Ubuntu, you just need to go to Google and say, what command we use for this configuration in Ubuntu. You'll get an answer there. That's it, my friend. All right. Done. So this is what it is. Now let's move and let's see few more things. Okay, I'll be sharing this document in coming sessions, my mail ID, the WhatsApp number, and all the documents. So right now, let me go through some very basics of operating system. You know what is operating system very well? Okay, it is interface between a user and a hardware, right? This is what we know from ages maybe, right? So these are the four layers. Layer one is your hardware, layer two is your operating system. Then we are running application, then users are connecting to the application. This also we know. Yesterday also we have seen this. So let me just go through this again briefly. Hardware, operating system, application, and users. So this is the operating system that rolls the computer networks. Now let's see more technical things now. What operating system will do? What exactly is your operating system? Beside, uh, allowing a user to access the hardware, what other things it will do? Resource management, process management, networking, security, performance monitoring, error detection, data management, storage management, backup and recovery, and running applications. We do all these things on our operating system. Our operating system can do all these things, but operating system will not do everything on its own. We need to tell the operating system what security measures we are taking. We need to tell the operating system what backup it should take. We need to tell the operating system when to recover the backup. We need to tell the operating system when to manage storage. We need to tell the operating system what networking concepts we need to configure. We need to tell the operating system what process it should handle and what process it should kill. Yeah, technically we call it as kill, Kill. So operating system is there. Operating system has the ability to do all these tasks, but we should know how to use it. For example, imagine you have a car. What is the work of car? The work of car is to carry people from one location to another location. So imagine you're sitting somewhere, let's say in Hyderabad. From Hyderabad, let's say you want to go to Vijayawada. So can you just say, can the car directly take you to the Vijayawada? No, right? You need to drive the car. Let's say from Hyderabad, you are moving to, let's say, Mumbai. The car cannot take you and me directly to Mumbai, right? I just need to drive the car. So operating system is there. The work of operating system we know very well. But will it work on its own? No. Process, resource management, performance management, storage management, running the application, taking the backup, providing security, configuring all the networking things, allowing user to connect, okay, denying users from accessing some files, restricting users, all these things we need to tell, we need to configure in the operating system, then only the operating system will work perfectly. And this is what we do as a server administrator, cloud administrator, DevOps admin, cyber security admin. We do all these things in Linux server. This is what we'll be learning in our next 35 days. Got it? This is our administration. So see GUI and CLI, we know this very well. So we are not going to this again. Hmm? Now, if you go with the operating systems history, there are majorly three operating systems: Microsoft Windows operating system, Mac OS, and Linux OS. Remember, initial class at the beginning of the session, I showed you, roughly when I say 90%, 8%, it's not like exact 90% and 8%, few percent here and there. I showed you how much market Linux is, Linux has covered and how much market share belongs to Microsoft Windows and how much market share belongs to Mac OS. So these are majorly three operating systems we have. Linux is obviously number one, Windows is number two, and third place with a very less market goes to Mac OS. So Mac is from the Apple. Apple are into few other businesses, so they are a big company, right? They are not only manufacturing mobile phones and laptops and few other things. They are into operating system as well. So they can manage everything with very less share. But coming to Linux operating system, they're not into hardware. You will not see any Linux laptop there, or Linux mobile phone, or Linux firewall. You will only see the Linux operating system. So they do everything to keep their operating system number one. All right, so these are the three operating system. Now, before we move deep into the Linux operating system, I'll just try to go through few things that you need to know about Windows Microsoft Windows operating system. When we go to the cloud computing concept classes, there we will see more about Windows operating system. See, in AWS, there are at least couple of classes where I have to take you through the where I have to take you through the Windows Server sessions, how to connect, how to launch, how to use, what options we have, all these things. But right now, let us go briefly, okay, about the Windows Server operating system. What it says, it is one of the most widely used operating systems globally for personal use, desktops and laptops. Obviously, we have in server also, but 95 to 96% globally, when you see any desktop or laptop, which operating system you see there? Windows 10 or Windows 11? Let me show you my machine. If I go to run and if I say WinVer here, can you see Windows 11 operating system is here? Most probably you'll be using Windows 11 or Windows 10, or maybe there can be few people who are using Mac OS, or maybe there are very few people who are using Linux OS. If you're already into this administration world, administration field, let's say you are a cyber security expert or a cloud admin or a DevOps admin, then most probably you can expect a person to use Linux operating system in their laptop. But remaining 95, 96% people who are just internet users or programmers or maybe let's say accounts people, multimedia people, what they use Windows clients only, right? So globally, my friend, in desktops and laptops, Microsoft Windows is more likable, more usable. All right. It says 75% actually here. I have added 75%, but it was actually more than 90%. You know, what is the reason why I have added 75% of desktops and laptops use Microsoft client operating system here? There is a reason. The reason is Linux people, they say, see, there is a competition between Microsoft Windows and Linux server operating system. See, if you know football, if you're a football fan, you know the competition for last 20 years was between Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, right? These were the two people who ruled the world for last 20 years. Remember when Sachin was there, the competition was there between Sachin and Lara. Remember when Virat Kohli was playing, the competition was there between Virat Kohli and Graham Smith. Always competition is there. So the competition is there between Windows and Linux here. Now let me just add few very interesting points here. Windows is GUI. Linux is CLI. This is what we know from many years, right? And normally most of the people, they blindly believe this. They say like, okay, it's a Windows operating system, so it is graphical user interface. They say it's a Linux operating system, so it is command line interface. This is what they believe blindly. Listen carefully, my friend. Windows operating systems are famous for GUI. They are famous for GUI, but you can configure Windows operating system in CLI also. Linux operating system is famous for CLI, but you can configure it in GUI as well. Linux operating systems you have in graphical user interface also. So what Linux has done to do competition with Windows people, they have released Linux operating systems which can be used in graphics. So for that reason, slightly the demand of Windows operating system, especially the client operating system, has reduced globally, but still it is a market leader. It is still the market leader when you talk about the client operating system. Okay, so right now what OS we are using? Windows 10 we are using here and Windows 11 we are using. All the other operating systems before Windows 10 are outdated. Okay, let me just talk about outdated terminology. Okay, can you please tell me guys, anyone, what is the meaning of outdated, let's say outdated OS? I'm saying Windows 8, Windows 7, Windows 6, all these are outdated. Means what? Outdated means what? If you want to answer this, you can simply unmute yourself and answer this. Or if you want to answer through text in chat box, both the options are open for you, my friend. I know it will take a couple of sessions for you to get used to me and get, more comfortable with me. But my friend, try to get as comfort level, try to be comfort as early as possible, because clearing your doubts and asking your questions should be your top priority. You should not take your doubts from here. I always say this, if you can answer something here, you can answer many things in interviews. At the end of the day, after learning this course or learning all these courses, you have to face interview, my friend. Without facing interviews, no one can get a job. At least 99% cases you cannot get a job. All right.
Other updates and security patches will be not given to Windows 10, 7 and older versions from Microsoft. That's why they are outdated.
Exactly. No updates, no security patches. Excellent answer. Anything else, my friend?
And in future, hardware capabilities also need to be revised for the older
Ex
devices.
exactly, my friend. It is vulnerable to virus. Hardware capabilities will increase. Okay, so the new hardware is not supported with the older operating system. So these are some of the things. Not only with Windows 10 or Windows 11 or Windows operating system, outdated terminology we use even with our Linux operating system. So there's the reason what we do. We go with the latest version, that is Linux 9.x version. Before 9.x version, we have 8.x, which is still used in market. 9.x is widely used, and they have already launched 10.x. X means 10.1, 10.2, 9.123, something like this. So 10 point version is already available in market, but you should know this 9. If you know 9, you can work on 8 as well as on 10. Minor changes will be happening inside every version actually. So if you know one version, there is no need for you to get training on the next version. You can easily manage the next version as well. All right, great. Now this is what it is. So all the other operating systems are outdated. We have only this latest operating systems available. All right. Now, in client operating system, we know it is very limited actually. It is limited for your desktop experience, limited for your, games and all the other things. But Microsoft people, what they do? They have their own server operating system also. Now, one of the very common questions you will get in interviews is, what is the difference between a Windows operating system and a Linux operating system? I have added many differences in my interview questions document. When I share, you can just go through each and everything. But let me just show you few differences. Okay, let me just show you similarities first. Okay, see, there is something called email server. Can you configure email server in Windows machine? Yes. Can you configure email server in Linux machine? Yes. There is something called web server. Can you configure web server in Windows machine? Of course. Linux machine? Yes. Can you configure DNS server in Windows machine? Yes. Linux? Yes. DHCP in both these servers. Database in both the servers. So all these services or applications we can run in Linux operating system as well as Windows operating system. Okay. But if you want to see something that we can do only in Linux, or let's say right now, let's say in Windows. Can you see this? There is something called Active Directory. What it is, my friend? This is your Active Directory. So what Active Directory? What is Active Directory? This I'll explain you in more details when we go with the Amazon Web Services classes. But right now, one of the advantages you have in Windows Server operating system is Windows Server operating system allows you to install, configure, and manage Active Directory. Literally every local area network, every company's network will use Active Directory to manage their users and data and policies and each and everything. This is a backbone. I have taken many sessions on Active Directory. I have seen many people working on Active Directory. Many people who are working in this IT for last 5, 6, 7 years, they are still working on Active Directory. This is such a big thing. So most probably after a few months, maybe when there is a requirement for you to learn Active Directory, maybe in let's say week or 10 days, you can go through the concept of Active Directory easily. So right now, Active Directory is something that is only possible in Windows. It's a Windows proprietary service. In Linux operating system, we cannot go with this Active Directory. All right. Then we have something called Hyper-V. Hyper-V is a technology that is actually known as virtualization technology. Hyper-V, virtualization. Virtualization is possible in Windows. Virtualization is possible in Linux. And let me just write down this term here. Virtualization. My friend, if you want to understand Linux and cloud computing very well, one of the technology you need to understand very well is virtualization. I remember before COVID, before 2020, I used to take classes on virtualization. I used to take 35 to 40 classes session on virtualization. It was a complete course. But now, because of cloud computing, companies are not looking for virtual admins, they are looking for cloud admins. But to understand the concepts of Linux very well and to understand the concept of cloud computing, we just need to understand this technology very well, virtualization. That again, we'll see in coming sessions, but as of now, Hyper-V or virtualization it is same. Both are possible in Windows as well as Linux. Remote access is possible in Windows as well as Linux. PowerShell, remember I told you the competition is between Windows and Linux. So Windows people says, okay, Linux, your CLI mode, you say like you're more secure. So Microsoft people said like, okay, now we are offering Microsoft servers in PowerShell as well. PowerShell means the command line interface. But the problem with PowerShell is the commands are a bit bigger. It's not so easy to manage things by using Windows PowerShell. All right. I'll show you a few commands related to PowerShell and few commands related to the Linux server. I'm just powering on the Linux machine here. It will take another 30 seconds for that machine to come up. Meanwhile, let me just go through Linux. I just want to show you some images here. Yeah. This is your Windows PowerShell. So we can use commands in Windows Server and we can literally configure everything. This is your Windows PowerShell. It looks like this, exactly like this. Blue color screen will be there. Okay, if you want to change, you can change, but normally by default, it will be in blue color. So everything we can configure through commands. All right. But coming to the Linux operating system, my friend, let me show you few basic commands here. Don't worry what I'm doing here, like how I'm connecting and how I'm accessing this server and each and everything here. This is your Linux server. What you see right now on your screen, root is the user, the most famous user in Linux. Server 111 is the server to which I am connected right now. So this is your Linux server. The time is 9:54. 9:54. Okay. Probably right now, I can say some millions of people are connected to this screen right now. Who are these people? All these people are Linux admins, or maybe a programmer who is working on the Linux server for some reason, a database administrator who is working there. Right now, maybe some lakhs of people are using this command ls. Maybe lakhs of people are using this command ls-l. Maybe, lakhs of people are using this command clear. Who are these people? All these people are like you and me, the Linux administrators. I repeat, they are the Linux administrator. So this is your Linux operating system. It looks exactly like this. Initially, it looks a bit boring or it looks a bit, difficult. You may say like, oh, what exactly is happening here? This is such a big output. But my friend, within 2 classes, you will become master. You will definitely understand, okay, what is this hyphen RW hyphen R hyphen hyphen R hyphen hyphen dot. You will definitely understand what is DRWX something something something. You know why this is in blue color. You know why this is in black color. If you know this, then only you can proceed in your career. You can go with cloud or DevOps or everything. If you're not aware of these things, what it is showing here, my friend, it is simply like I'm wasting my time, I'm wasting my resources, I'm wasting my money to learn cloud or DevOps or something. This is a Linux operating system. Okay, so this is CLI. So Windows CLI will be a bit difficult, but Linux CLI is more easy because commands are there. And in case, if you need to take support or help, you can simply take support or help, which is already available within the Linux operating system. All right, so this is your Linux. I'll just try to make a file here let's say cat mm, student 9 p.m. This is my file name. I just want to add the names here actually, our names. Durga, Shakeel, Pandey, Piraya, Dev, Vikas. Okay, with V, let me add Virat Kohli. You know what I did here? I have just created a file. How to know whether the file is created or not? Just say ls -l and let's say students 9 p.m. See what it shows you here? It says there is a user with the name root on February 12th at 21:56, that is 9:56 p.m. has created a file with the name student 9 p.m. and these are the permissions. That's it. What we do in Windows machine? In Windows machine, we go to the file, we right click, we go to properties somewhere here, and we see all the details, who has created a file, what is the size of the file, okay, when the file is created, we see all these things, right? But in Linux, with the help of the command, we can see each and everything. So right now, what you see on your screen is your Linux operating system. All right. So see, PowerShell is there in Windows as well as in Linux, but Linux commands are much more easier compared to Windows. Now, Windows people also have different versions. 16, 19, 22, and 25 are the latest version. Before 22, before 16, whatever versions are there, they are again outdated. I started my career from Windows Server 2003 actually. But now we are into like 2024. You know, whatever concepts were available in 2008 and 2012, majority of concepts are still same, but new concepts are added. When 2003 and 2008 were there, cloud computing was not there. Virtualization support was not there. Cyber security support was not there. DevOps tools we cannot install. But now what we can do, your friends? We have all this support. Literally each and everything we can install here. Okay, like this we have all the different versions in Microsoft. Anyhow, Mac OS is there, but you know Mac OS is very limited here, friends, because of its cost. It is very limited because of its incompatible file system, because of the hardware restriction. You cannot install Mac OS on any hardware. You just need to have the Apple hardware, the Mac hardware. There only you can install this. So Mac OS is very restricted, very limited. At least, you know, Microsoft is much better compared to Mac, and Linux is much better compared to Microsoft. So we know the different types of operating systems now, okay, how they are working and what exactly is their responsibility. But overall, if you go and analyze things across the globe, over the internet or within the network, the Linux server is having the upper hand. Okay. Now, if you want to see a command, suppose let's say you don't know a command, for example, you know what you can do? How to check Linux OS version. I'm just putting something here. It shows me some commands here. Can you see here? OS release file. It says OS release file. So let me just say cat/etc/os release. Done. See, I know the command, but I just want to show you like how easy it will be to learn new commands. I just said cat. We need to know what is cat first. Then we need to know what is etc. Then we can add the commands. What it says, the name of this operating system is Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and the version is 9.4 version. And there are a few more things which are, you know, clearly visible here. But this is your Linux operating system. So whatever commands you need to know, my friend, I have just added literally all the commands in the, you know, LAM manual. But still, if you want to get more commands, by the time you go into some technology, by the time you start working, by the time you learn something new, you will definitely know all these commands. Okay. So this is about your operating system, very basics, my friend. Now coming to Linux and Unix, most probably we can go through this Linux and Unix maybe in our tomorrow session. Okay. So any doubts, any questions from today's session, I am more than happy to assist you. Tomorrow and after tomorrow we'll take class, and then we will see like how we can go with our next week classes. Let me just, you know, clear few doubts here regarding sessions. Right now, we are taking classes from 9 to 10, right? So this is only for a few more days. Then next week, you'll be joining sessions from 8. Okay, you can do one thing. If you're really interested in this package, from tomorrow itself, you can come in 8 p.m. class. You can just go through the management. They will share some numbers, and in case if you're interested for this complete package, you can register yourself. And from tomorrow itself, you can come in 8 p.m. class. And then again, you can come in 10 p.m. class with a different link. So next couple of days, you can manage. Okay, but from next week, 8 p.m., it will be purely Linux. And Wednesday, I'll be starting CCNA at 9 p.m. So if you want to complete systematically, come for the Linux administration, then come for the networking classes, that is CCNA. That will be much better for you, my friend. If not, complete your Linux. Then after 1 month, come for CCNA. Then after completing CCNA, then come for AWS. That will take more time. But at least we can come in 2 classes every day. So in next 35 to 40 days, we can easily finish our Linux and CCNA. Then hopefully we'll be more than ready to enjoy the journey of cloud computing, my friend. Cloud computing is such a important part of every company's business. They are simply searching for good cloud administrators. So if you are good in these two things, Linux and networking, this journey will be super smooth. So then you can come for AWS. If you still have any doubts regarding class timings, the package, the whatever things you have, I'm here for you, friends. We can have the discussion and then we can stop this session for the day.
Hi, so I have a one doubt, related to my career point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Like I completed BE in computer science engineering and MBA in marketing,
Mm-hmm.
and I work in sales department from last 5 years, but firing from everywhere due to targets and everything in cloud sales. Now I want to switch my career in cloud technicals with Azure cloud solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So after completing CCNA and Linux, may I move with Azure? Azure is the good cloud or?
See, right now, when you see the market in cloud, nearly roughly, I'm just writing roughly, 1 or 2% can be here and there.
Yeah.
38% market is occupied by AWS. Around 23%, or let's say 22% safe side market is occupied by Azure, and around 12% market is of GCP, that is Google Cloud. Beside these three, all the other cloud platforms, they are in single digit, 2%, 3%, 1%, something like this. So see,
Yes.
as AWS 22, AWS 38% and Azure 22%. Now let me answer this in a different way. Once you are done with Azure or AWS, whatever, let's say for example, you are learning core services like EC2, VPC, S3, IAM, load balancer, okay, CloudWatch, etc. These are some of the core services. When I say core services, all the services will take at least 1 month or maybe more than 1 month. You'll be learning all these classes, all these services in, let's say, AWS. But when you go with Azure, you have the same services, my friend. When you go with GCP, you have the same services. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you learn any one cloud, you can easily learn the other cloud by yourself. First cloud, you have to take support from any instructor or a trainer. But the second cloud, you can learn by yourself, because if you know what is VPC in AWS, you can easily understand VPC in Azure. Or if you know what is VPC in Azure, you can learn AWS VPC by yourself. So in most of the cases, you will get training on AWS because it is in more demand compared to Azure. You can see the percentage here. So normally, it's very easy for you to get training on AWS, and then you can go with Azure. But in case if someone is offering you Azure training directly, but for that also you should know the networking and the server part, then you can go with the Azure part. Okay, so my personal suggestion is, in next 3 to 5 months, try to learn this both cloud. Learn one cloud very well and learn the other cloud by yourself. That's it.
Yeah, so now multi-cloud demand have more as compared to single cloud.
Exactly. Multi-cloud, multi-server.
Yeah, so now trend has been changed due to AI and everything. So there is multi.
Exactly. And my suggestion is just go with AWS and Azure. In very specific cases, you can go with GCP if needed. But if you're good in this AWS and Azure, you're simply increasing your chances up to like 65 to 70% across the globe.
So there is no not considering any career back, any like other field career switches, but because I'm into cloud sales and now I want to switch my career in cloud technical.
See, company will look for the skills what you possess, my friend. That's
Yes,
it.
yes.
Nothing matters to them except your skills.
So as compared to developers and as compared to tester, right now in the market, Linux administrations and AWS Azure is the best thing, na, as compared to developer and tester profile due to AI trends
AWS,
and everything.
AWS is best. Second position is for Azure.
So the cloud computing is the better career opportunity as compared to other field like software development or testing.
Exactly, exactly. Because AWS needs, people who can design, troubleshoot, automate, manage everything. So cloud carrier is much better because whatever other carriers you think of, all these things are working on cloud or all these things will work on cloud. If you say database, they work on cloud. If you say AI engineer, they work on cloud. If you say data analytics, they work on cloud. If you say cyber security, they work on cloud. Literally everything works on cloud. So they need more cloud administrators to support all the other technologies.
So, sir, there is also need for database learning like SQL with Linux or AWS or SQL not needed in this career
SQL
path.
is one of the service. SQL is one of the service.
Okay.
Can you say EC2, VPC, S3, IAM, and not SQL, database one of the service.
Yeah.
RD, yeah. One of the service we have in cloud is your database service. It can be SQL, it can be RD, what is it? Relational database. Okay, so it can be any one thing. But see, again, companies not expecting you to know literally everything there, right? So companies are expecting you to know this so and so service very well, and then they can say like, okay, welcome, come to the company. This is your responsibility. Take this much time, prepare yourself, and this is what you have to handle. So if you're a Linux administrator, this is an advantage for you. If someone is a network admin, already working somewhere or already have the knowledge, it's advantage. In this same way, if someone is a database admin, it is a advantage for that particular person. Not mandatory, it's just an advantage.
Yeah. And so DevOps career is different as compared to cloud computing. There is one
Okay.
more.
Okay, let me just write down the step-by-step structure for you. First, server. Second, networking. Third, cloud. If you want to be in cloud, see, if you want to be in networking for rest of your life, networking is such a big thing, my friend. It's not only like 30 days course or 35 days course or only CCNA. Networking is so big, my friend, that for rest of your life, next 20, 20, 35, 30 years, you can stay yourself, you can keep yourself busy in networking itself. Okay,
Yes.
but still, if your main intention is cloud, okay, cloud also have multiple roles and in cloud also there are specializations like cloud security is there, cloud networking is there, cloud AI is there. So there are different specializations. So if you just want to be in cloud for rest of your life, well and good. But you know what people do? They feel like, okay, let's go with DevOps or cyber security. So that comes at fourth place.
Yes, yes.
This is the pattern you need to follow. Normally, what people do, someone says like, okay, there are some opportunities on DevOps. Let's go and pay some money somewhere and let's sit in DevOps session. But once they sit in DevOps session, the trainer is talking about IP addressing, subnetting, network address translation, DNS, DHCP. Okay. The person says like, what exactly is happening here? What is IP addressing? I need to know. DevOps trainer will say, I'm not going to teach you IP addressing here. Go to networking classes and learn IP addressing where you need to spend at least 4 to 5 classes. So there's a problem actually. People feel like, okay, there are opportunities in DevOps, there are opportunities in cyber security, there are opportunities in clouds. Let's jump there. No, my friend, without knowing the server and the network, you cannot learn anything. So DevOps will come at number four. If you go in a systematical way, DevOps and cyber security will come after server, networking, cloud.
So first, like a Linux and networking is the foundation for every courses like cybersecurity, DevOps, cloud.
Exactly, but I just want to
Yeah.
use a different terminology. I'm not using the terminology as foundation.
Yes,
The
yes.
basic or the foundation is a very limited actually. We are simply limiting ourselves. I'm saying you're learning the server administration here, you're learning the network administration. You're not learning what is what. You'll be installing, configuring, managing, and troubleshooting things.
So after completing this course, I will try for a job as a Linux administration, Linux engineer, Linux server engineer.
Exactly. That is my main aim. If you
Yeah,
go with this particular package, you're not restricting yourself only to one job role. You can apply for
great.
five, six, seven different job roles in one company.
Yes, yes, yes.
That is the added advantage, my friend. And the other thing is, let me just, clear more things. Like, for example, in networking, you will be learning IP addressing, one of the most important topic ever in computer network. If you just come from 1980s till today, one of the most important concept. When you go to cloud, DevOps, cyber security, or servers, you will be definitely using IP addressing. But where you are learning IP addressing?
In
In network.
networking.
Exactly. So if I just type down a number 192.168.1.1, you can read the number. But what is happening behind that number? To know all those things, you need to learn the networking concept. So I'm not using the terminology as servers and networking are the basics. We are learning the administration, okay? And then you are entering into the cloud and DevOps and cyber security wherever a person is interested. That makes things more easier. But initially, as a fresher or as couple of years of experience, if you have multiple, uh, options available with you, multiple career paths, that's a great advantage, my friend. Literally every path, server path, network path will take you to cloud. But again, like I said, if you don't want to go in cloud, you're enjoying the networking field, rest of your life, you can work only on networks, my friend. It will not go anywhere. Server will not go anywhere. All right. Like this, the
So
technologies will
there is
evolve.
no impact of AI in cloud or any server technologies.
There is very less impact of AI in server and networking in cloud. It can
Yeah,
enhance our work. It can make
yeah.
our work more easier, but it will not select, okay, today we are having 100 cloud administrators. Let's say tomorrow we will remove 90, only 10 are needed. That will not be there for sure.
And but there is one challenge only, na sir, like working opportunity ready for 24 into 7 hours in networking and in
A working opportunity, come again, please.
like their job schedule will be 24 into 7 hours. Like there is rotational shift also in some companies, and there is some not proper working from Monday to Friday, na, in networking and server and cloud engineer.
See, right now there is only one place where you have morning, let's say morning 9 to 5 job. That is in government sector, my friend. If you go to any private sector, if you're a programmer or in networking or in cloud or in AI, you have to manage your timings for sure. It's not like you'll be getting the same time every day. Any private sector, especially in IT, it's not only with cloud or network. If cloud and network administrator is changing the time, if companies are changing this time, they will change the time of a AI engineer. They will change the time of a programmer. They will change the time of the database admin. So it's with all the people. It's not only with networking people or cloud people.
Yes, yes.
This is a private sector.
Yeah, yeah. So there is only 9 to 5 job in government sector, not in other sector.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great, sir. I hope in this class you will become cloud administrations in future. Yeah, after completing.
Hopeful, hopefully you'll be ready to face interviews on Linux server, networking, and cloud admin. Not one. My aim is to go with three things because everything is related with everyone. Once you start learning networking, you will be learning something related to server, something related to cloud. When you learn the server part, you'll be learning something related to, they're, close to each other. We are not learning, let's say, today we are not talking about cricket. Tomorrow we are not talking about football. And then day after tomorrow, we are not talking about tennis. When we talk about cricket, maybe we can talk about T20, ODI, or Test. They are very close to each other, right? They are form of one game. So servers, networking, and cloud, they are form of one game. They are different parts in one game. That's it. So don't get confused here. Don't put a lot of burden on yourself. This is one career path, different stages. That's it. And the best thing is, one of the best thing is actually this. You will get all these three only for 7,999 with recordings and many other benefits for sure.
That's a great, great.
All right, so that was the session for the day, friends. And tomorrow, Friday, we have one more session. Most probably, I'll go through some more basics of servers and all the other things. And let's see how it goes. Like I said, I have already started classes at 8 p.m. So they are coming at 8 p.m. And if few people are interested here, they will be joining the 8 p.m. sessions from next week. And 9 p.m. is dedicated for the CCNA slot. All right. That's it for the reference. I'm here for like 30 more seconds. Anything else we will see, or else we can stop the session for the day.
Thank you so
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. See you. Take care.
much.
Bye.